The Ovi watch is on. Yes, Alex Ovechkin now 5 goals away from tying and 6 from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record. He scored Tuesday night. We're close to the point where you will see the great one Gretzky and NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman at Capitals games to celebrate this milestone, as well as live TV look-ins as Ovi gets close to breaking this amazing record. It should be good for the business of the NHL, the Capitals, and Alex Ovechkin. And this is your morning Buzzcast for Wednesday, March 26th. Good morning, I'm Abe Madcore. Good viewership numbers for college basketball, as SBJ's Austin Karp broke down the ratings and notes that viewership for the men's and women's tournaments are quite healthy. Audience for the men's tournament is at its best mark through the second round since 1993. Think about that. Averaging 9.4 million viewers, it's up 3% from the same point last year. On the women's side, the tournament is off to its second best audience through the first round on record. And that, of course, is behind only last year's historic numbers fueled by Caitlin Clark. But games so far this year, yes, they're down 22% from last year, but up 43% from 2023. It's really not fair to use 24 as a benchmark. Austin Karp's been smart about that, using a long-term trend number to really gauge women's basketball ratings. But overall, very good numbers for the men's and women's tournaments as the tournaments progress. Let's shift to baseball. We talked about another opening day, Thursday, and throughout the offseason, we've continued to hear that drumbeat of a salary cap. And that drumbeat has come from baseball owners as they approach negotiations on a new collective bargaining agreement. And remember, the baseball union has never, ever been open to even discussing any cap on player salaries. This goes back to the legendary Marvin Miller. But you are hearing owners continue to push for a salary cap, and many believe that Commissioner Rob Manfred will make it a critical part of his agenda in the next round of negotiations, which begin after next season. Well, negotiations will begin before that, but the collective bargaining agreement will end after the 26th season. So this offseason, you've had Rockies owner Dick Monfort and new Orioles owner David Rubenstein calling for a salary cap. Rubenstein went on CNBC on Tuesday saying that he believes baseball fans want, quote, equilibrium, end quote, and that every team's fans should believe they have a chance of winning the World Series. To her credit, CNBC's Becky Quick, who's so good at this, pushed back and said baseball in the past 25 years has had a wider variety of World Series winners than other leagues that have a salary cap in place. So it kind of flies in the face of owners' argument. But Rubenstein countered that there are always a couple of teams that are seen to have a better chance at winning, the big spenders, and i.e., that's where the focus will be on the Dodgers this year because of their payroll. But the bottom line is, this will get very tense because the players' union has long been adamantly against any salary cap. Andrew Miller, who pitched 16 years at MLB and is now a special assistant at the Players Association, said earlier this week, sarcastically, that baseball will stress that a salary cap will be, quote, the cure for everything, end quote. He, again, pointed to data from other leagues that salary caps do not necessarily even the playing field or make things more equal across other sports leagues. So you're starting to see the talking points and the arguments and counter arguments coming from both sides. This will get potentially quite ugly. Let's move on. We continue to talk about the building boom in sports. And while new stadiums, ballparks, and arenas are critical, A team's training facility is seen today as just as important as new major venues. Training facilities are key to recruiting and retaining the best players. Training facilities are key for morale, employee engagement, also brand strength and brand amplification. These are real investments that owners and teams are putting into these facilities. And here's the latest. The Charlotte Hornets, the team will break ground today, Wednesday, on a new practice facility that's being built right across the street from its Spectrum Center in Uptown Charlotte. The team also reached a deal with longtime partner Novant Health that makes the Winston-Salem, North Carolina-based healthcare provider its naming rights partner. So it will be called the Novant Health Performance Center. It will open late 2026, early 2027, and it will include everything you see in these facilities. It will have a sports medicine clinic, 2 full-size basketball courts, strength and conditioning areas, recovery areas, medical facilities, hydrotherapy, nutrition, all those things. It's a 160,000 square foot facility. It'll also be the home to the Hornets' business and administrative offices, more than 250 employees. The facility will cost more than $150 million. A majority of that is being funded by ownership. $30 million is being paid for by the city of Charlotte. So again, this is a big investment, and it speaks to what owners are doing for their teams, players, and employees. Again, this facility will open in late 26, early 27. It will be a big addition to the uptown center of my home city of Charlotte. You know, it's always great to see an SBJ New Voices Under 30 honoree continue to rise up the sports ranks. And we see that as Ted Glick will be joining the MLS Chicago Fire as their Chief Ticketing Officer and SVP of Stadium Programming. Glick will report to the Fire's President of Business Operations, Dave Baldwin, and he's being brought on with an eye towards the Fire's planned new stadium. Now, we know that the Fire currently are a tenant at Soldier Field in downtown Chicago, but owner Joe Mansueto has pledged to privately fund a new stadium for the team. It's early in the process, but this is a big, big deal, of course, for the Fire. Now, a little bit more about Ted Glick. He was a New Voices Under 30 honoree in 2020. He most recently worked at Legends, where he was based in Madrid and led premium sales across Spain and Portugal. He's had stops at the Commanders, the USL Sacramento Republic, the New Jersey Devils, the Philadelphia 76ers, and his promotion, I'm sure, make his parents, Tom and Maria Glick, very proud of their son Ted. A couple of quick hitters as we end the Buzzcast. NBC and the Breeders' Cup are extending a media rights deal through 2030. That's according to SBJ's Austin Karp. The two sides are in the final year of a 10-year deal that was signed in 2014. NBC and the Breeders' Cup partners for a long time. If you've never been to the Breeders' Cup, it is a great event. It will be held in Del Mar outside of San Diego this year, and it's a very powerful event for NBC Sports when it comes to premium hospitality in a great part of the country. In the back half of the year, they see real value in the Breeders' Cup. And finally, this deal just makes too much sense not to work and not to be renewed. Dairy Queen. Yes, Dairy Queen has renewed its sponsorship of Major League Baseball and Little League Baseball and softball. Again, too good of a mix not to work. Dairy Queen has been an official baseball sponsor since 2022. You'll see a lot of Dansby Swanson and Francisco Lindor in creative ads for Dairy Queen touting its sponsorship of Major League Baseball. And again, a partnership that is just a perfect fit. Summer, ice cream, baseball. And so that is your morning Buzzcast for Wednesday, March 26th. I'm Abe Madcore. Thanks for listening to the Buzzcast. Stay healthy, be good to each other. I'll speak to you on Thursday.